Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Craving Crypto podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a market overview, starting with Bitcoin and then going into the top altcoins. So let's get right into this. All right, so we're going to be doing the top 5 coins by market cap, starting with Bitcoin. So let's go into the 1 hour time frame and do some short-term technical analysis. As far as the 1 hour time frame is looking, it does look like we have hit some previous resistance here at 8,400. We're going back up to test that resistance. If it can break above this resistance at 84, it's likely to see continuation above this level. If we have a failure of resistance breakout and then a failure of support at 8,000, we're likely to test the support levels in this range here. So let's just go ahead and draw that resistance. So there's our resistance levels, and here is our support levels. All right, the MACD is a bit oversold right now, so if this does get enough momentum, we may just get above that $8,500 resistance level and see a higher high. Either way, this has seen quite the rally over the last week or so it wouldn't surprise me if we see a small correction out of this, although I don't expect any serious corrections now that we're breaking out of all these resistance levels, downtrending resistance levels. So switching to the 12 hour, we can see our short-term resistance that we drew and our short-term support. Okay, so there's resistance right here at 9,000, just below 10,000. And then we have a nice little chunk of resistance right here, again at 11,000. Then we have a really big chunk of resistance right here at 14,000. And then we have another chunk of resistance right here at 17,000. And then last but not least, the all-time high just under 20,000. Then coming over here, we can find some previous support levels to watch as well. We see one area of support that was not reached. We see another area of support that we did reach very nicely. And we see another area of support right here, which lines up with our short-term support line right here on the smaller time frame. And then last but not least, you've got this really, really big support right here at 3,000, which I don't suspect us to ever see those prices, but it's also good to be aware of all of the support and all of the resistances that we're seeing right now. Now, in this type of a sell-off, we've successfully had a breakout in this downtrending resistance here. So we can just take this, and I'll use black lines for the downtrending resistance so you don't get too confused. And then we'll use this black line right here. We had a breakout in that downtrending resistance as well. And then this black line right here to prove the breakout in that downtrending resistance. So now the only resistance that we really have to get through in Bitcoin is horizontal resistance. And again, these are the horizontal resistance points that we're looking for. But with a breakout like this and the momentum being in a huge squeeze, if you go into the 6 hour time frame and then you zoom out on the MACD and look at the momentum, don't even look at the prices, just look at the MACD down here. You can see that we've been in this huge squeezing momentum, and we finally had a bull break out of this squeeze. So this is looking really, really good. I mean, upside is highly probable, and downside is very low probability, unless we're just testing support levels like what we've drawn here. So I am expecting these resistance levels to be met and many of them to be broken in Bitcoin, and the short term is looking pretty good, although I wouldn't be surprised if we have some support testing in this area, and the medium term is looking really good and the long term is looking amazing. So overall, Bitcoin is in a really good spot to be accumulating right now. I've been saying that I expect a bottom of the market to be found soon, and it would not surprise me one bit if this level right here is the exact bottom, especially since everybody had their stop loss set at 6,000. And usually what happens in markets is, since everybody has their stop loss in the same spot, it has to go and stop everybody out before mooning. So that last little wick that we saw right here where we panicked and made a little bit of a new low is actually a good thing. And I personally believe that that was a shakeout for everybody that had their stops at 6,000. And now the market has shook those people out and it can go on the upside again. And it's highly likely that we're in a short-term bottom and likely to be a long-term bottom for the crypto space as well. Okay, so let's go into the next coin, which would be Ethereum, because as we know, Ethereum is number 2 in total market cap. All right, so Ethereum has broken out of 2 falling wedge patterns that I have drawn here. As you can see, it has successfully found support onto the $382 level. In the short term, we have resistance levels at 834. We have some resistance levels right here that it actually just barely touched, rejected a little bit off of. We have a bit of a resistance area right here, bit of a resistance area right here, pretty big resistance area right here, and then lastly the all-time high would be the heaviest resistance. Now let's go into our support areas. Right here was the previous support. Right here is another support area. I would consider this to be another support area as well. And then last but not least, we can get this low $50 support area, which is unlikely to ever be reached. But again, as a trader, you want to keep your mind open to all possibilities. So with Ethereum on the short term, if we go into the 4-hour, we're starting to see a nice breakout with some curling on the upside of this wedge. We hit our first resistance level, making a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and an ABC correction. And then we've made another 1, 2. It looks like we could make a 3-wave here and start heading up towards 518 and then possibly this next resistance level right here. So Ethereum is looking really bullish on the short term as well. This curling and that rounded bottom shape is also a good sign. As you can see, we can just take this tool right here and you can see how the prices are rounding out at these lows. That's a really good sign. And then also the falling wedge breakouts are really bullish. Okay, let's go into Ripple. Okay, so Ripple. First, we're going to find support levels. Our first support was at the top of the previous wave right here. Our next support would be at the top of that wave. I would also consider this area right here to be support. And then now we can start finding resistance areas. So this is a pretty good chunk of resistance right here. This is a pretty good chunk of resistance. This is a really good chunk. Right here at 238 is a chunk. And then right here at $3 is another really big area of resistance for Ripple. Okay, so this is generally on an uptrend. As you can see, since last year, we've been trending up on this lowest trend line. We've also landed back onto the major support of the previous wave. So this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. And then this was probably an XYZ correction, if you count subwaves. This right here would be another falling wedge. We're seeing that a lot in the crypto space. And again, because we made a new low, it stopped out everybody that had their stop loss at 47 cents. Again, that would be a classic shakeout where you suspect to see a bounce and an upward breakout after that shakeout. We also have the MACD curling on the upside, and momentum is looking bullish for Ripple as well. So I suspect these resistance levels to be met within the next few months. Now Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash will be a similar story. We can just take our resistance levels here. Starting with this point right here, I would consider this to be a nice little chunk of resistance. And then this right here, what we're kind of kissing up against right now, is also resistance. Then we have some more kind of resistance right here. And then this huge wick all up here to $6,000 would be your next resistance zone. Now with Bitcoin Cash, because we're so oversold, we don't really see very much support here. There's not very many areas to draw support, just because the market has already fell so hard that it's already near the support levels. just because we don't have as much price history, so that the trend has only really been since $200 that we can do TA on this. Now this is also having a momentum curl on the upside. The MACD is having a histogram flip and a curl, looking like we should see upside momentum. We're also bouncing off support levels, and I suspect these resistance levels to be met in Bitcoin Cash over the next few months as well. And last but not least is EOS. EOS is looking very, very, very good, as we have made the first wave in the 3-wave, landing onto support right here perfectly. We're very oversold on EOS right now. As you can see, the MACD is clear down here, oversold, getting that histogram flip as well, as you get this cross in the histogram, and the momentum is showing a lot of upside potential. We also have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder right here. And in EOS, you also have the falling wedge pattern that has broken out. It did the same thing right here before it went up really high and made a new high at $23. So with EOS specifically, I'm expecting this is mainly support. This has a really strong trend. The real resistance levels that we need to get past will be right here at $14. And then there's a pretty good chunk of resistance right here at $9.13. But because of how oversold we are, I don't think we're going to have any problem getting through that. And then again at $23, we have some resistance. But after that, it'll all be, an open market for EOS. So I suspect us to see a new high in EOS while everything else goes up to previous resistance. So EOS is looking really good overall, and one that I'm watching carefully and holding. So yeah, total market capitalization on Bitcoin is $141,700,000,000. The price is $8,254, as we were predicting, telling you not to panic sell. Volume is at 4.5 billion. 24-hour change is up 1%. Ethereum is at $48 billion in market cap. Price is $478 billion. 24-hour volume is 1.5 million, and the 24-hour change is up 1%. Ripple is at $18 billion in market cap. The price is 46 cents. 24-hour volume is $189 million. 24-hour change is down 0.44%. Bitcoin Cash is at $14 billion in market cap. Price is $836. 24-hour volume is 578 million. 24-hour change is up 4.7% or 0.47%. And EOS is at $7 billion in market cap, $8.62 in price, and 620 million in 24-hour volume, being up 0.71%. So a lot of people are asking, well, should you put all your money in Bitcoin? Are altcoins okay to be holding because the Bitcoin dominance has been increasing? So my answer to that is watch EOS against the Bitcoin price. So EOS BTC should be your new indicator for whether altcoins are good to be holding right now. So this is leading the market, meaning that EOS is doing better percentage than Ethereum, and EOS is doing better percentage than Bitcoin. So that means that this is really the one that you want to be watching when you want to figure out whether it's alt season again or not. And EOS is landing right onto major support. It's just made two falling wedges, and this is the Bitcoin chart, so it is a little bit different than the dollar chart, which we were just doing TA on, but it's a similar perspective. And we've landed onto the trend line and curling. So this is finding support. I really do not suspect alt season to just stop now. I think that the Bitcoin dominance will start dropping again. This looks to be like just a weird kind of up wave before it needs to crash. This is a lot of resistance too for the Bitcoin dominance, between 45% and 60%. So I really don't think that we'll be able to get much above this area. I do think that alts will be back in season soon. This was just due to the heavy breakout that we're having in the market cap that they lagged behind a bit. So yeah, use EOS as your indicator to watch your altcoins. I've been getting a lot of questions about that in the VIP, so that's why I wanted to kind of address that to my viewers in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the comment box below. Just so you guys know, starting next month, I am going to be increasing my VIP product prices. So if you're interested in getting in on it, you can go ahead and use a 10% discount in the description box below. Go to my website and get in the VIP before we increase the prices. I really value the VIP product, and that's the reason that we're changing the prices. And just so you guys know, I am currently in Utah, and that is why I did not upload Tuesday's upload, but I'm doing Thursdays and Fridays as planned, and expect next Tuesdays as always. So I really appreciate everybody that tunes into these videos. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. As always, stay profitable out there.